Hi, my name is Midori, and I want to thank you for joining us for one of our BCA Quick Tip tutorials. Today we want to discuss how to create visual cohesion in a fundraising campaign. Current psychology research suggests that the average human needs to see the same image 5 to 7 times in order to remember it. That's a lot. What that means for our work in a fundraising campaign is designing touch points that visually speak to donors in a consistent and concise manner. How would you feel if in the middle of a conversation with someone, they shifted tone out of nowhere or even changed languages? That would be really confusing, right? Well, we want to avoid making donors feel this way when they interact with work from a single campaign. And we can do that by aiming for campaigns that use the same visual language at every touch point. How do we create a consistent visual language to work from? Well, there's not exactly a one-size-fits-all answer to that question, but knowing some of the basic visual elements is a good starting point. Basic elements of a campaign's visual language include things like typography, color palette, and photography/illustration stylings. To create cohesion within the elements, here are some simple tips to consider. First, for typography, are all the fonts used in a similar way, including their size, weight, and color on all pieces? Consider if the type is readable to your audience, especially for older donors. Also, is the typography appropriate in tone with your messaging? Overall, my tip here is to check for consistency of type being used throughout all of your campaign pieces. Another element to examine is your color palette. We need to consider if the colors chosen will work for all touch points throughout a campaign's lifespan, including print and digital mediums. Sometimes vibrant colors on a screen don't translate well in print, and vice versa. So those are some factors that might affect your color choices. Other things to consider is if the color palette is at the appropriate contrast level for a donor, or if it's in harmony with other factors driving your message, like holiday or season-specific themes in your campaign. Lastly, consider photographic or illustrative stylings. Look at how the photography or illustrations interact with the tone and messaging of the overall campaign. Are they in harmony? For example, using an all-children photo or illustration for a senior hunger campaign creates discord, even if the colors and type styles are consistent. Also consider if all the photography or illustrations match each other contextually, with things like seasonal elements in the background or on your subject. Overall, a good rule of thumb is to look at all of your campaign pieces together and check that they look like they're all speaking with the same voice from the same organization. These are just a few simple tips that can significantly impact the visual consistency and cohesion of a fundraising campaign. Remember, we want donors to not only understand our campaign, but also remember and be inspired by it. So whether it's a Facebook ad, a direct mail piece, or a giant billboard, we want to ensure that donors are seeing the same visual language for the campaign at every step along the way. For more quick tips like this, you can visit BCA at cecilcommunication.com. Thanks everyone for stopping by.